Wow, you are learning so much about the continents, our globe, about the water. And today we're going to study a little bit more about something called natural resources, things that God made for us to enjoy. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Before we start, I want you to go ahead and look at the map that I have here. I covered up some of the answers, and I want to see how well you remember your continents or the ocean names. So over here, I have a continent. Do you remember the name of this continent? See if you could say it before I erase it. Did you say North America? Good job. Let's look down on the west side of North America. My compass rose will let me know that this is west. So I'm going to head this way. This is west. I'm going to head that way from North America. What ocean is this on the west side of North America? Do you remember? See if you could say it before I erase it. Did you say Pacific? If you did, you are on your way to getting a great grade on our test on Friday and knowing our globe. Now let's go up to north. The North Ocean that is on the tippy top of the globe. It's very cold and it has ice on it. Do you know the name of that ocean? Can you say it real fast before I erase it? Did you say Arctic? Good job, first grade. So we've learned North America, South America, we learned the Pacific Ocean, and we learned the continents that are over here. We know this is Europe, but do you know the largest ocean? It's over here, sorry, largest continent, and it's over here. What's the continent that's right here? Do you remember it's a large one? Can you say it? Do you know it? Asia. All right. And the final one today that we're going to go over to review is the one where the lions live, and it's right here. Remember that one? Can you say it real fast? Africa. So, those are some of the continents and oceans that will be on your test on Friday. If you knew them with me, great job. If you struggled a little bit, that's okay. We've got a few more days to go ahead and study the maps and the oceans that are on this page. Yesterday, we talked about the water cycle. Water is a natural resource. Resource is something that God made for us to use and enjoy. He made it to make our life easier, and it's a natural resource is found in nature. Man did not make it, God made it. Now, man uses the resources that God made, and we make other things with them. We'll talk about that. But look at the first page, and it says that God, though some of the resources are water and air and soil and plants. Those are some examples of natural resources. What can we use resources for? Look at this picture right here with the trees. Trees, and this right here, the wood of a tree, is a resource that God gave us. What would we use that for? How do people use that? Houses, right? To make houses. Someone in the class said to make bridges. They might use some of the wood to make some bridges. I've seen some wooden bridges. Even paper. Can you imagine that paper is made out of some wood? So that is a way that we use the resource of trees to make our life easier. And we want to use that wisely. We talked yesterday when we learned the water cycle that water is a natural resource, and we use that wisely as well. So God made us these resources and He wants us to use them wisely. We should not waste them. We should take good care of them. So, how can we use our resources wisely? With our water, we talked about yesterday that we can turn it off when we're not using it when we're brushing our teeth, right? Or when we're washing dishes, let them soak a little bit and then wash them real good and then turn it on to rinse them. So reducing the amount of water we use will be a way to use our resource wisely so that we don't waste it. But we can also reuse things. So we can reduce, that means don't use as much. We can also reuse things. Let's just say, for instance, I have this book. And I read it and I enjoyed it and I loved it, but I became a better reader. And I don't need to read this book anymore because it's already so easy for me. One thing I could do is I can reuse this by giving it to somebody else. Instead of throwing it in the trash, I can reuse this. We can use a lot of things. Think about things that you reuse. You use it for a different purpose. Do you ever take like a bag, a Publix bag that they give you to put the groceries in? Do some of you ever use those for different reasons? Maybe you use them for, someone in our class talked about, they use them to put over the trash can to throw trash in. It becomes a trash bag. I said, that's a great idea. Someone else said that they use it to put food in. I thought, what a great idea that is too. So we can reduce, don't use as much. We can reuse, and then we can do something called recycle. That means take it and give a different purpose for it. Because if we recycle our water bottles, our soda cans, our milk jugs, our newspapers, they will take those and they will make something else out of them. And it keeps the trash out of our landfills. It helps us have less trash that might hurt people. So reusing, reducing, and recycling are ways that we can use the resources that God gave us to help us live a better life, to have a cleaner earth, and to use those resources wisely. And then here we have a picture of some trash, and these things is going into recycle. And they are going to take whatever's here, if they can recycle it, and make something new. That is being wise with our resources. Okay, finally, yesterday we talked about the water cycle, and I told you you're going to do a little craft. I saw some really, really great water cycle posters. Thank you for doing that, and thanks for your hard work. I notice it, God notices it, and we're real proud of you. But you get to try a little experiment. If you can get a baggie, we will reuse this baggie and make it an experiment. And in the baggie, put a little bit of water. Before we put the water in, do one other thing. If you have any markers that don't erase, like I use Sharpie markers, you can, just like your poster that you did yesterday. When we did this, we drew the sun, we wrote evaporation, we wrote condensation, we made a cloud, and then we wrote precipitation. Remember how we did that yesterday? You can do the same idea with a marker on a baggie. And then, when you have it decorated just the way you want, evaporation, the sun, let me see if I can get this laser on. Evaporation is when the water goes up and the sun causes evaporation. Then condensation is when it forms into a cloud. And precipitation is when it falls from the cloud. You don't need all the extra stuff unless you want it, but I would like to see those three things on your bag. Then put a little bit of water in it. If you put a little bit of blue coloring, food coloring in it, if mommy has it, then you can see it blue. If not, white will work just as fine. Just clear water will work fine. Seal it up. Don't put too much water. Maybe about this much in your baggie. Kind of like as you see in this picture down here, not too much. Have mommy seal it and then tape it to a window that gets a lot of sun. So think of a window in your house that gets a lot of sun and tape your sealed baggie to the window. Then every once in a while, though, take a peek at your window. Your baggie will start with the water down here, but you will notice something after a while. You will notice that it must have evaporated because you'll notice little droplets all over your bag. And then if you look closely, you'll notice your droplets will fall. And that will be showing you what the water cycle looks like in a bag. Okay? So go ahead and do that today if you have a moment and enjoy watching the water cycle. Remember today, let's use our resources that God gave us wisely by reducing, turning off the water or the electricity, by reusing. If you have something that you don't need, maybe pass it to someone that needs it, or recycling, putting our things in the recycle bin. I'll see you tomorrow in social studies.